Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mias, and welcome to my Kozmo Control deck profile. So, once again, there will be probably a Kozmo combo deck profile. A deck profile for the combo version of Kozmo. Yes, you understand. Coming out relatively soon. I hope so. I was gonna say I hope not. But yeah, before we start, friendly reminder to like, subscribe, blah blah blah. And yeah, let's get right into it. So of course I'm playing three double Ds because I'm gonna make the exact same joke every time. Who doesn't like double Ds? Well, I mean, you might be gay or you might be a lesbian. Who knows? Wait, hold on. No, if you're a lesbian, then you definitely like double Ds. Wait, I'm actually such a moron. But yeah, Dark Destroyer is really, really good. Oh yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, that's the real double D. Dark Destroyer. Whoa, what were you thinking? But yeah, Dark Destroyer, really insane card. Can be targeted by card effects, not just monster effects, so it's better than the mutant guys. And it's funny because when I saw the mutants, I was like, wait, hold on, they kind of look really similar to Cosmo. Well, particularly due to the fact that they cannot be targeted, the little monsters tag out onto the big boys, which is the same concept kind of, but not really. And also, emergency teleport might actually go to 3. Of course, needle fiber is going to get banned if that happens. Well, I mean, needle fiber needs to get banned like regardless. So who cares? That's not even like something new to the equation. But yeah, no, Dark Destroyer is just insane. Upon being normal or special summon, so you can even tribute summon this guy. Yes, sometimes it does happen. It destroys a monster on the field. Slip Rider destroys a spell or trap, but the Dark Destroyer can actually target yourself because your own big Cosmo guys actually can be targeted by card effects. So there is a combo where during the battle phase you already have like a Dark Destroyer, like a Slip Rider or Forerunner or whatever, and then you summon Dark Destroyer, you destroy your big ship that already attacked, and then you summon like a Farm Girl, and then you attack for even more damage. The Farm Girl search for Dark Destroyer, you summon Dark Destroyer, you pop your other Dark Destroyer, and then you can see where this is going. And since most of your special summoning, when you go for lethal, happens during the battle phase, when you OTK someone, it is actually 100% through Nibiru. This version of the deck absolutely does not lose to Nibiru, and as a matter of fact, it doesn't even lose to hand traps. You can't even lose to Phantasme since the only link monster that you summon is the meme Access Code, which, oh, hold on, Access Code shouldn't be in this deck. Yeah, you don't play any link monsters. Yeah, Access Code should probably be like a Cyframe, what's the name? The level 7 guy. Okay, yeah, because if you side in Gamma and Driver, you can actually send it with Dragma Punishment, which I will explain later on, and then recycle back your Cyframe, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, and moving forward, one Forerunner, just like Dark Destroyer, it also cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, but the other effect is kind of significantly weaker. It's like during your standby, I think it's only during your standby. Yes, exactly, you gain 1,000 life points, which, yeah, it's who cares. And also, when Dark Destroyer dies, you float into this, and then you float into Slip Rider instead of going straight for the Slip Rider necessarily. So, I don't know, it just gives you another layer of untargetability. Yeah. 3-dimension shifter, nasty hand trap, it's just insane. The only moment where it kind of looks awkward is when you have Tin Can and back to the front, and you have to use this first, and then Tin Can will just get all your cards banished, so if you don't get that Dark Destroyer, it's not gonna do too much, but whatever. It's every deck that plays Dimension Shifter technically loses to it to a certain extent, depending on what you have in your hand. The only deck really that I can think of that legit barely loses to its own Dimension Shifter would probably have to be Thunder Dragons, but even then, Thunder Dragon Fusion would get banished instead of going to the grave, so in a way, it kind of does hurt a little tiny bit, but yeah. Slip Rider, of course, like I said, it's a level 5, which makes Nova and Infinity, but we only play 1, because it is quite bricky in the the control version, sorry. And yeah, destroys a spell or trap on summon, even your own spells or traps, and it floats into a level 4 lower. Well, I mean, basically all the ships, they always float into a level X minus 1 or lower. So Dark Destroyer is a level 8, so it floats into a level 7 or lower, Forerunner, level 6 or lower, and then there's Dogfighter and Landwalker, which float into level 5 or lower, and this basically only floats into the pilot. So Dark Lady is the first pilot, which cannot be normal summoned unless you tribute summon it, obviously, since it's a level 5. And it negates monster effects, which makes it quite nasty. It's one of the better cards to summon when your Forerunner, let's say, dies, and this can also tag out into a ship. Well, basically, when I say ship, I mean a level X plus 1 or higher monster. for all the pilots. So all the psychic monsters that you see, they all have that effect in common, where, let's say, Tin Can can summon a level 2 or higher, Strawman can summon a level 3 or higher, Farm Girl is a level 4 or higher, etc, blah blah blah. So yeah, just in case you didn't know the basic concept of Kozmo. And by the way, I think they're like the combination of Wizard of Oz and Star Wars. Should be it. Dark Lady, I think, is... I don't even know. I never watched a single Star Wars movie. I know. I'm old, and I don't even know Star Wars. I'm pathetic. Yeah, Wicked Witch, it's actually shockingly not that bad, because you can pay 1,000 to make it indestructible by battle or by card effect, and also it has 1900 attack. But to be fair, I think I kind of like Kozmo Good Witch more and more now, because kind of has an effect where it can bait negations. So let's just say you're going up against a Borreload Savage and you have Good Witch and Dark Destroyer. You can use the effect of Good Witch to Book of Moon the Savage. He's kind of forced to negate or let it go through, but then the Savage will get Book of Moon, so it won't be able to use its effect. And then you tag out into Dark Destroyer or whatever, and then you just jump over. There's that, and also the fact that even if you get hard negated and destroyed by like a Crystal Wing, you can still chain to the Crystal Wing to tag out. And yeah, sure, you don't Book of Moon, but at least you forced the negation of the Crystal Wing. So Good Witch plus a ship basically plays through a negate, which is nice. Yeah. Farm Girl, insane. You only need one. It's also summonable by E-Tele, so if we get 3 E-Teles, this deck is actually going to be significantly more consistent. Yeah, Farm Girl is just really nasty when it deals battle damage. You can even Honest, by the way. It's even when your opponent attacks into you and you Honest, which is a play that people used to do. Or like you, I don't know, like Damage Step, put their attacks to 0 with like Lost Wind or something like that. Yeah, you're basically searching any Kozmo card from your deck to your hand, so even Kozmo Town. And yeah, just searching Dark Destroyer is nasty, because Dark Destroyer just deals so much damage on its own. I like this a lot. This card a lot. And then, of course, 2 Strawmen and 3 Tin Can. Tin Can is the 1-card starter of the deck. It gets you a guaranteed ship that floats. Preferably, you want to get Dark Destroyer. It's not like Pantheism in the Grave, where you show 3 cards that can have the same name. It's more kind of like a Crowley. So you have to reveal 3 different cards. Your opponent randomly chooses. One of them gets added to your hand. The other ones don't actually go to the deck, but rather they are sent to the graveyard. So it transforms back to the front into a nasty card, and since you're playing Trap Trick, basically has like 5 Call of the Haunteds in a way, and Dimension Shifter is kind of like the only whack thing, because there is not like a good back to the front for Banish. There is like a card that revives from the Banish, but I think it revives face down, so that's just not good. And yeah, and Strawman, by the way, really fantastic card. It's really good like turn 3, I guess I want to say, like your second turn. And no, I don't really have anything else to say. It's a fantastic card. It's a monster reborn from the Vanish. Sword Troopers is a monster reborn from the graveyard, but only for psychic type Kozmo monsters. So basically, Dark Lady to Tin Can. Dark Lady, Wicked Witch, Farm Girl, Strawman, Tin Can, etc. Blah blah blah. So yeah. 3 Extravagance, because nobody cares about your extra deck, literally. All of your extra deck are just targets for Dragma Punishment. Yeah. Terraforming for 4th Kozmo Town. On game 2 and 3, you can side Mystic Mine, so it's why not? Emergency Teleport. Konami, we need 3, so gave us 2. They're probably gonna semi-limit E-Tele, so it's probably what's gonna happen. It's like the trend with Konami. It's just when a card, they want it to go to 3. They rarely put it from like 1 to 3. More like 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Except if the card got like errata'd and it's like super unplayable all of a sudden. So that might be the only one, but there's no way they're errataing Emergency Teleport. It's just a limited card. You literally need to be banned to be errata'd. So yeah. Kozmo Town, of course, insane card. It's not a searcher, like it's not a proactive searcher, because it only searches from your deck to your hand when it gets destroyed. Holy shit, what's going on with me? When it gets destroyed by card effect, doesn't have to be sent to the graveyard. I learned that the hard way. So even if you have Dimension Shifter, if this card dies and gets destroyed in the Banished, you still search, which is nasty. And also, you get to recycle back your Kozmo monsters from your Banished to your hand, but then you take 100 damage for each level of the Kozmo monster. And also, you have another not good, not weak effect, but just kind of like in between weird effect, where you get to reveal Kozmo monsters from your hand, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw cards equal to the number of Kozmo monsters revealed. So it's kind of like a mulligan effect in case you draw too many Cosmos, and if you draw not enough Kozmo, I want to say that's the best way to break. But you can also break by drawing too many Cosmos. So, because of course, all their effects are hard ones per turn, and they banish themselves for cost. So if you get like Solemn Striked, you basically just use your only normal summon, your only play, and then you can't really do too much. So it's kind of sad. 3 infinite to go with the 3 dimension shifter, so 6 hand traps. I used to play Gamma and Driver, but I was actually losing a lot. So it's not because you're putting hand traps in your deck that all of a sudden your deck is just better going second. It's just such a dumb logic. And hand traps, I hate them. Like, if it was up to me, if I didn't have to play hand traps just to make people who watch my videos happy, I would probably almost never play hand traps. I don't think they're good cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways. It's just that in the current format, people are like, oh yeah, but you have to play at least 12 to 15 hand traps if you don't want to lose going second. Well, you can still lose by drawing 5 hand traps and drawing no engine, or drawing 3 hand traps, 2 bad cards, and then your opponent just, instead of having no plays, he just slows down, and then next turn he does the exact same thing, simply because you bricked. So if your game plan is to draw 3 hand traps with your perfect 2-card engine starter into OTK, well, you're dumb, and you're not considering things as they should be. You're just not being realistic. You're being way too optimistic, which is actually a very bad approach. Like I said, I think the good approach is being pessimistic and believing that the worst case scenario will happen, and you kind of try to deck build in order to counter that. Kozmo, I guess I want to say, they have less flexibility in what they can inherently do. It's not really like Cyber Dragons, where every card is kind of like a board wipe in a way, depending on what is your matchup, so you can kind of build your deck to beat the other matchups that it wouldn't really lose to. I'm talking about the contact fusing mechanic, by the way. But yeah, this is just outside of Dark Destroyer sitting on the field and doing not like stopping your opponent. I mean, just not your opponent not being able to out it for 10 turns. There is just nothing that this deck does out of the extraordinary. It's especially more of a fun deck, but it also has the potential to be good. So just wanted to put it out here because a lot of people, they might believe that I make decks on every single deck that is like tier 1 or better, which obviously is not the case. Otherwise, my channel would have been dead 10 years ago. So yeah. 3 back to the front. I already explained that. 2 Trap Trick. You have quite a bunch of targets. 3 Dragma Punishment. I mean, your entire extra deck is basically for that. Elder Entity Entis is basically the main one that you're sending. Okay, Cosmojo, technically I don't even like this card. I wouldn't even play it. The only reason why I'm playing it is because when you get to play 2, not 1 but 2, you get to play 4, and also it is searchable by Kozmo Town when it gets destroyed, by Kozmo Farm Girl technically if you already have a Dark Destroyer and you can't really just deal more damage and you like really need interruptions for the next turn. Or also Tin Can, you can kind of risk it because technically you can reveal Kozmo Town and Cosmojo. It's just that if they go to the graveyard, they kind of just have no value, and if you don't have a ship, your Tin Can is just not doing much. So technically you can cut Cosmojo. Honestly, it's just not the best. There Can Only Be One is disgusting. It's so good because the thing is, all you need to win is like a ship. That's it. Like your Dark Destroyer attack is game, and it usually takes a bunch of monsters on the field to out one Dark Destroyer, and when it dies, it instantly goes into a Forerunner, and your opponent takes 10 turns to out the Forerunner again, and by that time you get like 20 billion life points, so why not? But yeah, no, There Can Only Be One is fantastic. I love it so much. Macro Cosmos, also amazing. You don't need your graveyard that much. It's the same logic for Dimensional Fisher and D-Shifter. By the way, fun fact, these cards actually protect you from a couple of hand traps such as DD Crow and Effect Veiler, because for cost they have to be sent to the graveyard. The only hand trap, and same thing with Ghost Ogre, the only hand traps that legit like destroy you regardless would be Gamma and Ash, but come on, whatever. And Infinite, I guess, but yeah, it's irrelevant. For once in my life, I'm actually not going to go over the extra deck because you don't summon any of these cards. And the idea section, I think I explained pretty much everything. If you are playing Gamma, you can play a bunch of real extra deck cards, but they're just kind of boring. I mean, this is, you know, the proof that it kind of looks like a joke, because you would just make like 2 level 3s with Needle Fiber into like Gamma, and then Link Cross, Martial Marcher, sync again into Mistbird, Clauseless, and then make Levier, I was going to say Levier, LMAO, and revive back Strawman, which revives back Dark Destroyer, and then you realize that you just did all of that for nothing. But yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Oh, and yeah, I guess you can also play Super Poly if you really want your extra deck to be a little bit more logical, not just Drachma punishment targets, but also super poly targets. And this is in case you get hit by Maximus Drachma, by the way, the Nova, because yes, you can summon it technically if you play 2 or more Slip Riders. I just don't think it actually makes any sense. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.